Now we go to extrinsic parameters which influence microbial growth. Extrinsic means the factors, the parameter which belong to the environment surrounding the food, like temperature of storage, relative humidity of the environment, the presence and concentration of the gases in the air surrounding the food, the presence and activities of other microorganisms. This microorganism, when it is present, it may influence to the growth of the other one. It may stimulate or it may inhibit, depends. I will just explain from the bottom to the top. Now, the presence of one group of microorganisms can influence to the growth of the other group. For example, in the case of making yogurt, for example, or making Nem Chua, a fermented meat, and this represent for pH, represent for the time. When we make yogurt from beginning, we add lactic acid bacteria and we generate a condition for this bacteria to grow. When lactic acid bacteria grow, they will reduce pH during fermentation. Okay, when they reduce pH like this, when pH is going down, mean that this will inhibit the growth of other microorganisms. When lactic acid bacteria take the lead, when they dominate the system, they will grow, they will convert lactose into lactic acid, and then that will reduce pH. pH is reducing, and then it will inhibit the growth of other microorganisms, especially bacteria. We already know that bacteria is sensitive to low pH values, right? And then, now if the pH is further going down to a certain value, when it's low enough, actually this acidic condition will also inhibit lactic acid bacteria. If you do longer fermentation, the pH will not go down further anymore because that very low pH already inhibit lactic acid bacteria. And then now you do the storage of the product at long time like this. When lactic acid bacteria do not dominate the system anymore, then there is a chance for other microorganisms. In yogurt, normally there is not a lot of oxygen and it's quite liquid. It's not dried. So actually it's a chance for yeast to grow. Okay. Because yeast can grow at low pH, we already know, right? Yeast can grow at low oxygen, we already know. And then when yeast grow, the yeast will digest the lactic acid. Yeast will eat this one, will digest this one, and will increase the pH. Yeast increase the pH up to a certain high pH value. A lot of bacteria will grow. When pH is high, now spoilage bacteria will grow, pathogenic bacteria will grow, and so on. Okay, when you make yogurt, it's sour, but up to a point that it's not sour anymore, then you should not consume it. Starting from here, this is the spoilage time. In like a small container of yogurt, but if you open the cap, let the oxygen enter freely, then not only yeast but mold also will grow. This is the same case for Nem Chua, the same case for Pickle. Pickle means like sour fermented vegetable, like kimchi in Korea, for example. Then all this product, the principle is from beginning, you need to generate condition to favor the growth of lactic acid bacteria. And then when this grow, inhibit the other one. When this grow, stimulate the growth of other one. So this will explain the presence of this group can stimulate or inhibit the activity of the other group. Okay. So nowadays, people, when they make yogurt or they make Nem Chua, for example, fermented meat, then they use starter coater, they name it protecting or protective starter coater. When they use some lactic acid, bacteria can prevent the growth of salmonella, prevent the growth of E. coli, coliform, and so on. Specific like that. That is somewhere else you can look for more information. Now, and then this parameter, the presence and concentration of gases, then this is applied in MAP. What is MAP? Modified atmosphere packaging. This is a packaging technology, công nghệ đóng gói thay đổi thành phần khí quyển. Okay. In this packaging technology, that the food here they pack in a package and here they change the condition. Normally, the air contains 80% of nitrogen, 20% of oxygen, but now they change it to 80% of nitrogen and 20% of CO2. Instead of oxygen, they remove oxygen, they replace by CO2. And then this become anaerobic condition. It will inhibit the growth of aerobic group. And then the CO2 will also inhibit many other microorganisms as well. Actually, CO2 is toxic to a number of microorganisms. Okay, so it can inhibit the growth further more microorganisms, and then we extend the cell life. Here you have no oxygen, mean you also have better oxidation stability. But this we talk about chemical already. But for this is microbial that we discuss in this topic. So we change the air condition in the packaging with the purpose is to extend the cell life by inhibiting a number of microorganisms.